spiritual direction more. Typically, it's at the service of growth in both deepening intimacy with God, which will often include mystical experience spontaneously, because that experience is always the gift of God. But that is what we're made for, is to experience the fullness of who God is. And if we're gifted with mystical experience, we get to have a taste of that before we die.
I have been being a spiritual companion for probably 45 years. And over that period, I realized that there was a certain area of inner growth that did not seem to be, the categories didn't seem to be, they didn't seem to fit what people were going through.
The more I'm reading about friendship, it's easy to forget that it's really only in the last 50 years where we begin to value women's unique contributions to relationships. You know, for hundreds and thousands of years, it's men where all the action and the meaningful discourse were occurring. And so it's easy to lose sight of how recent and precious this gift of spiritual friendship is. And I believe we as directors have a unique contribution to flourishing friendships, and especially in our calling to work in the public square.
Well, to be a feminist, I think, means recognizing the social conditions that shape women and women's experience. And until we had that capacity to analyze social reality, we had no language to discover it.
What I mean by the feminine night of the soul is that we experience the afflictions of our most receptive and intimate nature, both in terms of the wounding sustained by the world and also in terms of the positive healing that goes on within us. So it's a kind of a twofold process. And it's in particular confronting the pain of the violation of the mystical feminine in oneself and in society.
So we see the arising of the feminist principle, the feminine divine, a softness around spiritual practice that I think comes from the recognition of the women who have contributed to Buddhism for the past 2,600 years, but were unsung and forgotten. Is what we're finding that there are more and more in the United States women who are Buddhist leaders. We're finding men who are Buddhist leaders who are appreciative of the women in Buddhism, in particular the Buddha's mother, the first nuns, and also I would say the archetypes, the bodhisattvas that change form, that are not stuck on a particular gender, who change gender as it relates to what is the suffering that needs to be addressed and can best be addressed in this form or that form.
Each Enneagram type has an ideal self that ego wants to support and keep in place. And if we stay there, we die small. So part of this workshop will be in naming that ego ideal for the 9 types and posing the question, who are you beyond that? And how might we use the gifts and the holy virtue of our Enneagram type to support us in this journey of moving into naming and claiming our strengths and full dimensionality as women?
One of the ideas I want to explore is this practice of hearing to speech. And this is a practice that was named by the feminist theologian Nell Morton, based on her experience in facilitating women's groups. And when I heard it named for the first time, and it just came to my attention a couple of years ago, it helped me to put into words what we've been doing as spiritual directors, which is hearing others into speech. So it's this stance of anticipation that something sacred and meaningful will be revealed in what the other brings.
So join SDI for this 12-week celebration and exploration of women giving and receiving spiritual companionship and spiritual direction. This 12-week course is for anyone who offers spiritual companionship to women and anyone who receives spiritual companionship from women. This course is for you if you are hungry for nourishment and for nurturing as a woman spiritual companion. It's for all of those who are ready to connect mind and heart and body in a celebration of women in spiritual companionship and an exploration for what some of the challenges are that face us today and what some of the opportunities are as women who companion others.